Hello everybody, I'm Baltmatrix, and today is July 16th, 2021, and there is a little bit of news today. Got some giant robot news and got some oddly video game news, so let's go ahead and get into it. First up, TFW 2005 board member Transform75 is sharing some pictures of in-hand G2 ramjet. This is the Hasbro Pulse exclusive, and it looks pretty darn good. I'm not going to be picking it up because I have plenty of ramjets now. I've got, I think, 2 Sandstorms and a single ramjet. I don't need the G2 variant. While cool, I just don't need it. Hey, if you're going to pick it up, great. Have fun with it. I just don't need it. Here it is with the original compared. I personally love the purple and the teal and the black, but I'm more partial to the original Generation 1 color scheme. Next up is Kang Toys Mini 01. How do you pronounce that? Firmament? Okay. This is a Legends scale G1 dive bomb, and Kang Toys has already got their Masterpiece scale out there, and I've got one of those figures, and I kind of hate it. It's just not for me, but there are folks out there that love it. And you know what? It's not bad. It really isn't. It's just too complicated for me. This, on the other hand, this might be more up my alley. Legends class dive bomb. I would be willing to pick this one up because if it's Legends class, then you'll get a Predaking that's a little bit bigger than MP10 Prime. I'd be okay with that. I have room for that. I do not have room for an MP scale Predaking. Unfortunately, those MP scale figures are gigantic. I mean, they are bigger than MP10 Prime, so yeah. Hey, they've got price points for everyone, and I'm happy about that. Lastly, we get our first look at Optimus Prime's vehicle mode from Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Rise of the Beasts, plural. This car mode was spotted by a Montreal car spotting group, oh, geez, I can't even pronounce some of these names. At Ramden Studios and Yova Prime. So, hey, if this is what Prime is going to look like in the new movie, I am all for it. That alt mode looks awesome. I love it. It's beefy, it's chunky, it's very G1. Not totally thrilled with the cow catcher in the front or the bumper in the front, but you know what, I'll deal. I mean, that looks pretty cool. Now, what the toys are going to look like, that's another story. We're just going to have to wait and see. But hey, the alt mode looks dope. And in the gaming news, well, I have to talk about this. Okay, so yesterday, Valve announced the Steam Deck, which is their answer to the Nintendo Switch. And this is legitimately cool. It is a console that you can move around like the Switch. It is a PC, it's based on AMD architecture, and it's a Switch competitor. It's legitimately a PC on the go. Now, you might be wondering, why am I talking about this in a giant robot show? Well, there are giant robot games, aren't there? And as somebody who's been playing video games since he was 3, starting out on the Atari 2600, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. The only problem is I'm not going to get one not because of the price, but because my old man eyes can't look at the Switch. I can't focus well enough. I'm doing the thing. If you're older, you're doing the thing where you're looking at something in front of you and you have to extend your arms out all the way in order to focus in on it correctly. I probably need bifocals. Anyway, so input. In the front, we've got a 720p 60 hertz screen. We've got dual touchpads on either side of the device, dual analog sticks. On the left, we've got the thumb pad or directional pad. On the right, we've got A, B, X, Y. On the top, left and right, we've got triggers and bumpers. And on the back, left and right, there are 2 or 4 total paddles that are customizable. You can see them right here. It's got speakers on the bottom right and bottom left. There are fan intakes in the back and output in the top. It's a very slickly designed piece of kit. Prices. Starting out at $399, you get 64 gigabytes of eMMC storage. At $529, you get 256 NVMe. And at $649, you get a 512 NVMe. That is the one I would buy. I would buy the 649 one, simply because the only other way to upgrade the storage is with a micro SD card. Yes, you can get a 256 gig one for 50 some bucks, but still, I would much rather it be local storage. AMD Zen 2 processor with RDNA 2 graphics. That is going to be good enough to power most games at 720p at medium to high level. I don't have a problem with this as $649 for this. That's an incredible deal for what you're getting. Yes, it is old architecture. This is last year's or 18 months ago architecture, because they're up to Zen 3 now, and they're going to introduce Zen 4 early next year. There's going to be a separate dock, which is cool. It's going to have DisplayPort, HDMI, USB-C, Ethernet, and 3 USB jacks. One very cool thing is it works with all USB peripherals or USB-C peripherals right now, unlike the Switch. Pre-orders started today, and it was enough to break Steam. Think about that. Steam is one of the largest online retailers of video games in the world, and it was brought down due to the demand. Yowza! The Verge has an excellent article on how this machine pairs up or compares to everything else on the market in terms of video games, or I should say in terms of the Xbox and the PS5, because we're talking about roughly the same components. So we're talking about a 4-core processor in the deck versus an 8-core processor in the PS5 and Xbox. AMD RDNA 2 in all of them. Don't worry about the teraflops numbers. That's floating point. You don't need to worry about that. RAM 16 gigs. Performance target 720p up to 60 hertz. Storage, we talked about that. Expansion, micro SD card slot. Output USB-C with DisplayPort 1.4. That's really good. This is going to be a seller. This thing is going to sell like crazy, especially around Christmas time. I would be very surprised if people can get a hold of it for under the tree, so to speak. So, what kind of OS is this thing running? SteamOS is now based on Arch Linux, and it runs KDE, so you can plug this thing into a regular dock and output it to a monitor, keyboard, and mouse. And I swear I saw pictures of them doing that in one of these articles somewhere. But it is totally possible to run this just like a computer, like a Linux-based computer. And they admitted yesterday that, yeah, you can put Windows on it and turn it into a handheld Xbox if you want, which is great. I mean, it's great. There are options here. You could run anything you want, Linux or Windows-wise. That's fantastic. I mean, that's just great. The fact that you could buy it and put Windows on it if you want. Oh, and I forgot to mention, yeah, the touch screen. It is a touch screen with touchpads on either side. So yeah, I mean, this is potentially going to like completely destroy the Switch. And yeah, you can pirate Switch games and run it on Windows on this thing probably. All right, folks, that's the news for Friday, July 16th. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you think of everything down in the comments. And hey, since it's Friday, that means reviews are coming this weekend. So make sure you're subscribed so you catch those videos. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.